So for making a soft sculpture, we want to create a pattern first. Now, why do we do this? Well, most of the shapes that you want to make for your first time soft sculpture should be simple in form, meaning like a cylinder or a cube or a cone, a triangle, that kind of thing. So most of these simple forms have patterns online, and actually you can look up kind of paper folding templates and use those as your patterns, or of course, like say sewing patterns for, like a kid's block if you wanted a cube or a rectangle. So you don't need to do the exact measurements, but you do need to make a paper pattern to check your scale and proportion. So don't skip this step because it is really critical to making sure you have it correct. So I've made a cube, and I actually added some kind of tabs for taping, which, on reflection, I don't really need. So, get your design and get it to be the size that you want. Fold it. I fold it on the crease lines because that's where those are going to bend up on the actual object. And then here's the key thing is that I am taping it together. I only want to tape it a little bit because I'm ultimately going to remove the tape and lay this flat again to trace it onto my fabric. You could remove the tape by peeling it off if it's not too tacked on there, or you could cut it. So we don't want to over tape it or glue it, right? So this pattern is helping me make sure I have the right size, and if I have multiple parts, say it's a cube with a handle on it for some reason, I want to make sure that the size of both of those things is the same. Speaking of size, my pattern will get smaller once I turn it into a fabric soft sculpture, and that's because I'm going to have a seam allowance. So please make sure that you're thinking about this. So my pattern, if I want it to be a little bigger than this, I need to make it maybe half an inch or an inch larger all the way around. So please plan ahead and think about seam allowance so that you're not surprised by your piece all of a sudden being a bit smaller. So once I'm happy, make any adjustments, re-tape and check. But once you're happy with your final piece, you're going to lay it out on fabric and trace it. Make sure that you are working starting in the corner of your fabric, and that's to maximize your material, right? You never know when you're going to want to use any material again, and also you just don't want to waste it, right? It's important that we don't waste materials and throw a bunch of things away. So maximize it, work from the edge outward, don't work from the middle and then find out, oh my gosh, I have a giant hole cut in my fabric. Now I'm tracing with pen, and if I was making a garment like a shirt or a skirt or pants, I would use something else. But for soft sculpture, not a big deal, don't worry about it. And this is it. I've traced it, and now I'm going to cut it and move on from here for sewing together.